Welcome to the channel. In the previous video I showed how the new resonance system had a negative impact on a very large part of the players. However, I think that unfortunately we have to accept it and move on. To summarize this topic, the point is that players who invested in awakening to star gems to gain an advantage simply lost this advantage. So despite the great bonuses that the star gems offer, unfortunately they are a temporary solution. Although calling it temporal can still mean a long period of time, because acquiring 5-star gems, in my opinion, must be very well thought out. That's why in this video I would like to suggest you a solution and methodology if you are still confused about gems. At the beginning, it must be said that it is impossible to create a versatile guide about legendary gems because there are many significant factors. It's mainly about what character you prefer to play, how much you play, and what your goals are. However, I think it is possible to create a core methodology which will let you understand how to proceed. Remember that you still need to educate yourself on the more niche gems that will work perfectly for your class. The next thing is whether you are a free-to-play player or a spender. But in this case, as long as you don't spend a lot, the procedure will be similar. The only difference is the time it takes you to achieve something, or with spendings you will be able to push something little bit further. I will try to take these factors into account. So let's get to the basic thing. On the way to increasing the resonance and effectiveness of our character, we have actually for basic items. First of all, telluric fragments obtained by using crests on rifts allow you to craft one and to star legendary gems. Very basic material, but very important. The advantage here is the ability to choose which particular gem we want to create. Next is telluric pearls, another important material, but for creating 5-star gems. Due to the choice offered by the pearl, it is worth choosing gems carefully, but more on that later. And although free-to-play players can earn pearls, you will collect the necessary amount much faster with the Empowered Battle Pass. The next material is Gem Fragment. It is obtained by salvaging legendary gems. No amount is enough, considering that you need a lot of it, and it will require a long period of time to collect. Therefore, it is worth doing activities that will ensure a constant increase in this material. And finally, a Dawning Echo, that is, the material needed to awaken the item. The ability to awaken any gem at rank 5 now makes it much more accessible. What's more, the price of 10,000 platinum is probably the most profitable expense. How tedious and long it is to obtain these materials means that you can't just start building your character with 5-star gems unless you spend a lot, but this guide is not for this kind of players. In my opinion, the only right solution is to build 1-star gems at the beginning. They are relatively cheap, allow you to make mistakes, and give you time to find the character you want to play in Immortal. For now, I won't take into account random drop from Elder Rift. Telluric fragments give you control over what gems you want to use, so each additional drop will speed up this process. At first, you should focus on crafting 1-star gems for telluric fragments. I have prepared a fairly universal combination of legendary gems that will be suitable for practically everyone. But I encourage you to check how each of these gems work. I also believe at the early game stage is a place for you to become as familiar as possible with the legendary gems. The next step will be to obtain rank 5 of each of these gems. And here is something new, because as we know, item awakening can be done already at rank 5, so getting as much Dawning Echo as possible will be a big improvement for you. Each costs 10,000 platinum, so this process will take a while, but I think it's worth pushing it as quickly as possible. In the meantime, you will earn telluric pearls. In my opinion, you should use the first 40 pieces to make BSJ. 10% movement speed is definitely the best bonus you can have at the beginning of the game. Then you should save the rest of the telluric pearls for later stages. And at this point, I recommend stopping for a moment, because switching to 2-star gems too quickly will be problematic due to the gem power hungry. Increasing the rank of 1-star gems is relatively cheap, and you don't need to spend a lot of telluric fragments. Additionally, each of these gems will be sort of gem power storage, so staying longer in the early game stage is beneficial. I was also wondering if I should recommend picking up 3 copies of Fervent Fang from the Battle Pass to make it at rank 5, and it really depends, in my opinion. At this point, I think that it's better to choose pearls instead of Fervent Fang. But if 2-star gems are your target, you may have a different opinion. If you decide you don't want to invest in 1-star gems anymore, and you can create 3 copies of 2-star gems to rank it up to 5, then you can start your transition process into mid-game stage. When it comes to 2-star gems, there are 4 super versatile ones. The rest is more optional and depends on what class you prefer to play. That's why I suggested staying on 1-star gems a bit longer, because in the case of 2-star gems, we have less and less room for mistakes. So at this point you need to do your homework. With that being said, the gems must be at least rank 5 for the awakening to remain active. Fortunately, rank 5 is relatively cheap, so it won't be a mistake if you have enough copies and use a few 2-star gems already in the early game stage. If you haven't managed to get enough platinum to awaken the gems by now, you should really focus on that. If you are lacking of gem power, then as I mentioned, your 1-star gems are a great storage. So it's time to get rid of the least useful ones. And here, in my opinion, is a big change after the last update, because anyone who has already upgraded gems to rank 10 has most likely used the gem power from 5-star gems. Players were forced to do this because the awakening only worked at rank 10. But now the awakening works at rank 5, there is no point in pushing to star gems at all costs. That's why I recommend gradually increasing the rank of 2-star gems using telluric fragments. And basically this is where you will successfully perform all PvE activities. So it is not necessary to upgrade your character into 5-star gems. However, if you are interested in staying with Immortal for a long time, investing in 5-star gems will probably be more beneficial for you. Additionally, at the moment, telluric fragments and telluric pearls are 2 separate mechanics in the game. Therefore, the transition to the late stage basically starts from the first day of the game. But it must be said that so many things can happen during this time that it is really difficult to create one universal method. Unlike 1 and 2-star gems, 5-star gems are completely random, and they are not very versatile, so at this point you should make very conscious decisions. In my opinion, safe and versatile gems are BSJ and rolling consequences. You can't go wrong with them. But here comes the first problem. If you haven't managed to get at least a 4-star copy, and worst case 3-star, then I cannot recommend pushing it into rank 5. That's why I follow the rule that if a gem has less than 4 stars, I simply don't upgrade it. Unfortunately, because of this, you may never be able to get into the late game. So either you have to be lucky or buy such a gem for platinum, which will be expensive. But trust me, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you upgraded low-grade 5-star gem to quickly at rank 5, and after that you dropped much higher grade. It's better to collect more copies than to have a 5 out of 5 gem that you can't use. In the worst case, if you have many copies of the gem you want to use, you can consider buying a 3-star one at the market. Such gem at rank 5 will provide you with much higher resonance than to start rank 10 anyway. But let's assume you have the first base for a 5-star gem. At this point, you should exchange your saved telluric pearls for copies of this gem. Rank 5 is required to activate Awakening, and basically for each subsequent gem you repeat the entire procedure. Unfortunately, for free-to-play players, collecting copies will be very tedious. Although this is a long-term strategy, maybe something will change in the meantime. What could make getting copies easier, who knows? Next thing is the gem power needed to upgrade 5-star gems. Fortunately, the gem power invested into star gems can be fully recycled. So at this point you should get rid of the least useful gems and use a 5-star gem in their slot. However, it will be a long process and most of us will probably never complete it. So of course you can stick to the 2-star gems, but you have to remember that they have limitations. And when you achieve them, the only way to break this barrier is to gradually move to 5 stars. So the final decision, as always, is yours. From my end, this video is to show you a way that will protect you from unnecessary investments or loss of valuable resources. But I encourage you once more to get familiar with different mechanics of legendary gems. For some classes they are very unintuitive, and even if I would like to create a versatile guide, I am aware that each case is different. Although I hope I gave you some valuable tips that will help you make good decisions. So don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to stay up to date. As always, thanks for watching.